Okay, in this video clip, I'm going to be talking about log inoculation. Um, it's the video that I'm going to show you is sort of broken up in two different parts that I videotaped at different times. So sorry about that. But what I'm going to be discussing is really the steps that the Shiitake Growers Handbook uh, list inside the book. And I'm going to put a link down below. So if you're interested in this book, you can use that link. But the first thing I'm going to talk about is what does it mean to inoculate a log? First, you need some basic items to do this. You need mushroom spawn. You need wax. You need a drill. I so happen to use a router and a little 3/8 bit to bore holes with, a injection tool, and a bucket. And this is what I'm using today to put inside the logs. I have a basic workstation that I choose to use, and it's just a table that I made. I do my drilling on one end, and then on my other end I do my waxing right here. And I'm pretty much a one-man operation. It takes me approximately about 2 hours to do about 25 logs. These are the logs that I've been working on. These are a white oak log. I choose to have mine cut a little shorter than most people would want, just because it's easier for me to handle and pick up and maneuver and that kind of thing. So it's just a personal preference. But shiitake logs, they can be anywhere from a couple foot to 4 foot is what you would see. I usually have mine cut somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 foot. And as far as diameters, you can use the diameter of really any kind of a log. I take mine just from maybe what you would see here is 2 inches, 2 to 3 inches, to as much as 7 to 8 inches. I want to show you on these is the ends. If you look right here, that is called the heartwood, and the outer edge right here is the pulpwood. It is the pulpwood where the Shiitake mycelium eats the sugars in the wood. So the more pulpwood you got is the more robust, the more food the Shiitake are going to have. So when choosing a log, that's one of the reasons why I was saying that just because you have a very big log, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be very, very awesome for mushrooms. For instance, that particular log that has the cracks in the top, you can see it's quite large, but it also has a very big heartwood and not so much a pulpwood. So it's going to be a good log, and it will produce mushrooms, but it's not necessarily better because it's bigger. And that's one of the points I wanted to make out in this video about choosing the right kind of log, what kind to use, and how to do a basic inoculation. I personally prefer the smaller logs. I think that they perform much better, but really a smaller log will last maybe a few years, to where the larger logs might last 5 years or something to that nature. So there's some pros and cons to both, and that's why I get a mix. These are going to produce mushrooms right here much quicker because technically there's less food, and the mushrooms will want to come out and try to reproduce. To where in a larger log, there's plenty of food there, and there's not such of a hurry to start producing caps and trying to spread the seed, you can say. And I'll get into that on another topic. And I will also discuss wood types. I prefer white oak, and just because it's a premium, it produces a premium mushroom. Uh, Folks use all kinds of hardwood, and people will swear by other varieties, and that's fine too. It's just my preference. It seems to have always worked out the best for me here in Central Tennessee. And one, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to demonstrate just very quickly on how I drill my holes, how I lay them out, and then how I inoculate them. Uh, this is really the easiest part about mushrooming. It's really what you do behind the scenes and the time that you look out for your logs and take care of them before they start producing. But anyway, let me get through this just very quickly, and we'll show you. First thing that I want to demonstrate to you, you can see that my plunger probably is only going down about 3/4 of an inch. It really depends on the shape of the log that you're working on. It can go down full length, or just if there's curves or dips. Being by the nature of the router, it might only go in a 1/2 inch to anywhere an inch. Really, you don't need to go any deeper than this. Most people would probably recommend a depth of 1/2 inch to 3/4 on this particular log, just because it's fairly flat and no curves or bends in it. I probably got a maximum depth throughout this log. You can also see is that I just sort of just in no certain distance or order, I just zigzagged my holes. No space or anything like that. I try actually to make them very uneven. And the reason is, the whole idea of drilling these holes and putting the spawn in it is that you want the mycelium to seal as much as the log to start eating it as you can. Mycelium, when it starts to take root inside of it, it's going to travel with the wood of the grain. So when I inoculated this hole here, it's going to spread throughout this whole region. This hole right here is going to spread upward like that. So we want the mycelium to take over this piece of wood as quick as possible. It's a dog eat dog world out there, and it's no different in the fungi world. These are new logs. They were cut approximately 4 weeks ago by a timber company. They came down, and so I want to get this log inoculated and sealed as quick as possible to prevent any other form of competitive fungi to come and try to take over this log. What I do is just, if you look, I just sort of just sticking them in here. I use the sawdust. And if you look, you can see that I have about an inch a spawn that come out of here. So when I go and just say inoculate this hole, I just hold it over the hole. I put it in. All of it went in except for maybe about an 1/8 inch. So that tells me that I probably had probably about a 3/4 depth on this particular hole. And when I go through, and I will seal each one in a like manner. Now, what I'm going to do, I have all of these drilled in. I'm going to put it over here on my waxing station. And I'm going to allow my foam brush here to heat up and absorb some wax. And really, the only thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start covering these holes. Okay, so there you go, log inoculation. The key things that you want to remember is your wood selection, a hardwood. Be observant of the sapwood versus the heartwood. The ratio there. Choose your spawn. Drill your holes accordingly to where you cover the surface of the log. Make sure you seal it very good with wax. Again, I would recommend the Shiitake handbook. The link is down below. It covers wood selections, types of trees, woods, patterns, that type of thing. And if you liked what you've seen, make sure you subscribe. If you got any questions or comments, I'll try to reply to them. Otherwise, stay tuned. I'm going to talk about disease and other things that goes along with the farm on some future videos. Have a great day.